Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all. Professor Andreu Mas-Collell, Minister for Economy and Knowledge of the Government of Catalonia. Professor Dan Derricot, Representative in a Chair of EQAF 2014 Steering Committee. Professor Gaspar Rosselló, Vice-Rector of the University of Barcelona. Professor Claudi Alsina, General Secretary of the Council of the Catalonia. Professor Ramon Moreno, Vice-Rector of the University of Girona, and Manel Viader, Vice-Rector of the University of Barcelona. Montserrat Giral, Vice-Rector for Quality Assessment of the University Rovira Virgili. I repeat, good afternoon, everybody. Rector of the University of Barcelona, it gives me great pleasure to say a few words at the start of this formal opening in the 9th Annual Conference of the European Quality Assurance Forum, EQAF, co-organized by the European University Association, the European Association for Quality Assurance in Higher Education, the European Association of Institutions in Higher Education, and the European Students' Union. First of all, I would like to welcome you to the University of Barcelona and to this European Forum for the discussion of quality assurance in higher education. Obviously, we are extremely happy to be celebrating this annual event here in Barcelona. I am very pleased that our institution forms part of the more representative European association and of a network of quality assurance in which we now feel fully integrated. The University of Barcelona has a long tradition in the development of an internal and external quality assurance system, with a high level of involvement in the launch 18 years ago of the Catalan Agency for Quality Assurance, who is a full member of the European Association for Quality Assurance in Higher Education. Early in 27, through Bologna process, we set up in our university an agency for quality assurance in order to capitalize on the experience gained in previous years. Since 29, this agency has been a transversal and complete office of policy and quality, with competence in all the components of the university processes. But in this growth of quality assurance in higher education, it's necessary to find a balance between university autonomy and the wishes of the central government and the Catalan government to maintain close control over to the entire process. What's more, the widely held impression that agencies are exerting excessive ex-ante control is leading academic staff to fear that the process will become overly bureaucratic rather than promote real changes by introducing procedures to favor the students' learning process. So, this year, the Forum will be exploring whether and how current quality assurance approaches are keeping up with and supporting developments in learning and teaching. As I mentioned, it's a privilege and honor for the University of Barcelona to host this 9th conference of EQAF. Quality is an obligation for higher education institutions. We cannot renounce our quality in teaching, in training, in research, in public management and scientific output. Neither we can forget our role in the promotion of knowledge and the training of new generations. However, to do this, we will have to stretch all our determination and make an additional effort because of the lack of resources. Faced with this panorama, EQAF is the platform in order to take advantage of and stimulate this additional effort from quality. It helps us produce the best possible results with our limited resources. For this reason, I would like to express my thanks to EQAF and to EUA for the trust deposited in the University of Barcelona for the organization of this annual event. And now, I would like to ask Mr. Dan Derricott, Chair of the EQAF Steering Committee, to welcome and introduce us to the 9th EQAF Conference.
Rector, Minister, Vice-Rector, ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the 9th European Quality Assurance Forum here in the magnificent setting of the University of Barcelona. The concept of the annual Quality Assurance Forum was developed in the context of the Bologna process by the E4 Group, by ENQA, ESU, the EUA and Eurashi, and by providing an annual opportunity for conversation amongst all actors in higher education, we hope to develop a better understanding of quality assurance in the context of a changing higher education environment. Rector, we're very grateful, very thankful for your hospitality this year. We are really pleased to be here in Barcelona, and thank you for your warm words of welcome to the university. And thank you to all of your partners who have supported the hosting of the forum this year. As the Rector mentioned, my name is Dan Derricott. I am the current chair of the steering committee of EQAF and the representative of the European Students' Union to that committee, coming from the UK, where I'm student engagement manager at the University of Lincoln. Now, over the next 3 days, we have a busy programme of keynote talks, parallel plenaries, workshops, presentations, and those all-important social events that has been created to stimulate and inspire discussion on the shift that is taking place across the European higher education area from teaching to learning, and the implications of this for our work in quality assurance. With such a rapidly changing higher education landscape in Europe, this is a perfect opportunity to stop and to reflect on those changes and to consider how our systems of quality assurance and enhancement must change too, and how our own roles within those systems must change with them. Because in a landscape where students learn more independently outside of the classroom than ever before, in a landscape where the classroom is no longer a physical concept, where learning happens anytime, anywhere, and where teachers and students are no longer just master and apprentice, but students are partners. In a landscape such as this, do our quality assurance systems monitor and evaluate the right things? Is it possible, perhaps, for quality assurance evaluations to still focus on the traditional approaches to teaching and completely miss much of the modern-day student learning experience happening outside of lecture theatres? It's a good opportunity to ask ourselves, are our quality assurance systems still fit for purpose? And as the first representative of the European Students' Union to chair the steering committee, it seems appropriate that my final question to you is that in a changing landscape for the quality assurance of teaching and learning, how can we further develop the role of students as partners across the European higher education area to help us respond to the challenges that we face together? These are the kinds of debates that we will explore over the coming days as a collective of hundreds of staff and students from higher education institutions across Europe and beyond, with 5 continents represented, from quality assurance agencies, from higher education institutions, from representative bodies and other stakeholder groups. We'll no doubt have lots of opinions and we'll no doubt not always agree, but we can challenge each other and we can learn from each other, and we can return back to our organisations and our own countries ready to move forward. For those of you who are coming to EQAF for the first time, hello and welcome. Make the most of each session to ask questions and to engage in discussions. And a tip for you, make the most of the coffee breaks too. They're good at EQAF and they're a good opportunity to meet new people, to find the people who are asking questions in sessions and to follow up on those discussions, and to make new connections across borders. Going for you. And finally, this year we are social and we are open and we are online. EQAF is physically happening here in Barcelona, but in line with our theme this year on changing landscapes, plenary sessions such as this one are being streamed around the world online for all to see. We're also encouraging you all to tweet your thoughts on the debates you engage with and the sessions that you attend. You weren't going to put a student as chair of the steering committee and not have Twitter in a forum. We're also encouraging you to use the hashtag in any tweet. So hashtag EQAF, EQAF. And you can contribute your thoughts. They'll be displayed in the registration area on live streams during the breaks, and you can follow on your own devices too. So to those that can tweet in the room, here's a challenge for your first tweet. What do you think needs to happen in our quality assurance systems to embrace a greater focus on learning? So summarise your thoughts at this point in 140 characters and then see if you still agree in 3 days' time. To end, it's my absolute pleasure as chair of the steering committee to welcome you once again to Barcelona for the 9th European Quality Assurance Forum, and as chair of the steering committee to declare the forum open. Thank you very much.
Mr. Andreu Mas Collell, Minister for Economy and Knowledge of the Government of Catalonia, to close this official opening.
Rector magnífic de la Universitat de Barcelona, els rectors. Rector magnífic de la Universitat de Barcelona, rectors, chair of the steering committee of the European Quality Assurance Forum, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to Catalonia and to its capital, Barcelona, on behalf of the Catalan government. It is an honor for us to welcome you, to host you on the occasion of the 9th European Quality Assurance Forum. We in Barcelona and in Catalonia are very keen to get involved in international initiatives, be they conferences or be they institutions. We have indeed many conferences and conventions of any side. As for international, we are happy to host the Secretariat of the Union for the Mediterranean that groups 40 countries, all the countries around the Mediterranean and all the countries of the European Union. And that includes at one of the six priority areas, higher education and research. And that is an indication of strong propensity on our part towards the Mediterranean, of seeing us as a communication door between Europe and the Mediterranean. We also host the United Nations University Institute on Globalization, Culture and Mobility, one of the 13 institutes of the UNO. As a curiosity, we host the world's very first UNESCO chair. We have actually 22 of the 854 chairs, and also sponsored by the UNESCO. We hold the Secretariat of GUNI, the Global University Network for Innovation. As for quality assurance, ACU, the Agency of University Quality, our quality assurance agency, was a founding member of EQAF, and since 2013 hosts the Secretariat of the International Network for Quality Assurance Agencies in Higher Education. ACU, our quality assurance agency, has just turned 18, so it's a comparatively old institution, and has played a key role in maintaining and increasing quality in our university system, and this in the good times and in the bad times. In fact, we have in the last year going through difficult times, and a conclusion that I can offer to you is that if your country has to go through difficult times, it will be better if you have a good quality assurance agency in place. It helps a lot. Since, as I say, our agency is 18 years old. In 2003, we embedded it in our university law, and we have currently a bill in Parliament to do a few modifications, being born from experience and international recommendations. The five major changes are: one, enhancing its functions in some specific areas, such as internationalization. We also create an international advisory board. Also, another of the objectives is to foster a flexible running. You could ask, if you want to foster a flexible running, why are you doing it through a bill in Parliament? And that would be a very good question with a complicated answer I will not get into now. A fourth objective will be to create an appeals committee. And finally, I'm happy to communicate this, since one of the organizing institutions is the European Student Unions. The final purpose is to include students in its executive board. They are not yet there, but they will very shortly, as probably we should have had for some time. That said, let me thank the organizing committee for choosing Barcelona. Let me thank the University of Barcelona for hosting it. And let me thank the four organizing institutions. And finally, let me recommend you to work very hard, to do lots of meetings, but also enjoy a bit the environment, enjoy the city. The weather is still relatively good. And if you have lots of work, think that sometime the most creative brainstorming happens at a table over a drink near the beach. With these words, I wish you very good proceedings.